2 million views. That's the number of people who saw my niece, Brianna, aim her phone at me during Thanksgiving dinner and announce, "This is my Aunt Vivian." She's genuinely the least wealthy person in our entire family. Check out her clothes. I'm almost certain that sweater came from Walmart. Probably the bargain bin.
It's pure pitiful single aunt vibes. The comments were vicious. Why does she resemble a temporary teacher? Someone start a fundraiser for your aunt. The way she's sitting there completely unaware she's being torn apart. Brianna had stuck her top favorite comment right at the top. POV. Your family's letdown arrives at dinner dressed in discount mall chic. I replayed the clip 3 times. Not because it's dumb. Because I was thinking things through. Leave a comment below telling me where you're tuning in from and what time it is where you are right now. I'd really like to know who's joining our circle. I'm Vivian Holloway. I'm 52 years old. I drive an Accord I've owned for 11 years. I purchase my clothing from places that offer solid quality without ridiculous prices. Sometimes that's Walmart, other times it's a small shop in Milan. I stay off social media. I don't wear flashy jewelry. I never feel the urge to make a grand entrance wherever I go. What I do possess is a private equity company I started 23 years ago. It now oversees $892 million in assets under management. I also own real estate holdings valued at roughly $34 million, an art collection appraised by Sotheby's at $12 million, and a beachfront property in Malibu I purchased in 2008 during the market collapse. Yet my family has no clue about any of it. To them, I'm simply Aunt Vivian. The reserved one. The one who stayed single. The one who works in some kind of finance, but obviously isn't successful at it, judging by her appearance. Look at her pathetic old car. Look at how she shows up with a supermarket pie for Thanksgiving instead of bringing in a professional caterer like Brianna's mom, my sister-in-law Kendra. I allowed them to keep that impression. For 2 decades, I permitted that misconception. Because the moment my brother Marcus wed Kendra, I instantly recognized the type of individual she was. She judged everything by brand names.
Vehicle they drove, the purse they carried, the zip code they resided in. And I observed her mold Brianna into an exact replica of that mindset. So I reached a conclusion. I would still support Brianna regardless. Not because she earned it, but because she was my brother's child. I established a trust account the day she was born. I added to it annually, discreetly, channeled through a family foundation that concealed my role. By the time she reached 18, the balance had increased to $1.8 million. But I'm far from naive. The trust included strict stipulations. Extremely precise ones. The funds would become accessible on her 21st birthday, but solely if she satisfied the moral standards detailed in Section 4. The recipient must exhibit steady conduct demonstrating honesty, compassion, and consideration toward others. Any public actions judged significantly contrary to these principles, as decided by the trustee, could lead to partial or total loss of the trust property. The trustee was my lawyer, Howard Pemberton. He'd been with me from the beginning of my company. He was precise, principled, and utterly devoid of humor. He also, coincidentally, had a TikTok account. His teenage grandson had set it up for him. Howard phoned me the morning following Thanksgiving. "Vivian," he stated, tone even. "Have you viewed your niece's clip?" "Yes. 2 million views. She's openly shaming the very person who created and financed her trust, and she has no idea. The comment area is toxic. She's replying to them. Feeding into them. She uploaded a second video today ranking family members according to their wealth. You ranked dead last. I poured a cup of coffee. What's your evaluation, Howard?" Section 4 leaves no ambiguity. This qualifies as a substantial violation of the character provision. The actions are visible, recorded, and persistent. She isn't merely being rude. She's profiting from malice. She's crafting an identity around ridiculing those she views as inferior. Horror. 21st birthday is 2 weeks away. I'm fully aware. If you choose to activate the forfeiture provision, I require your formal approval in writing. The assets will then transfer to the alternate beneficiary named. That alternate was an educational scholarship program for first-generation university attendees. I had included it as a backup plan, praying it would never become necessary. Prepare the documents and send them over, I replied. I signed everything that same afternoon. The revocation became final. Brianna's $1.8 million trust was no longer hers. She simply hadn't been informed yet. Her 21st birthday celebration unfolded precisely as one might predict. Kendra had booked an upscale rooftop location in the city center. Ice sculptures stood everywhere, a DJ played, and a large backdrop banner displayed Brianna's portrait. The theme proclaimed finally old enough to be this glamorous. The invitation list included 200 guests, most of whom Brianna barely knew, but who possessed sufficient online followings to increase her visibility. I showed up in a plain black dress. No accessories. Flat shoes. Kendra stared at me as though I'd arrived wearing trash bags. Vivian, she said, offering an air kiss that never touched skin. Thrilled you could join us. I realize gatherings like this aren't typically your thing. I wouldn't dream of missing it, I answered. The event was at peak energy when Brianna stepped up to the microphone. She wore a bespoke designer gown worth more than many people's rent for months. Her hair and makeup were done by professionals. She resembled a content creator unveiling a new brand, which, essentially, she was. The brand was her own image. Thank you everyone for being here, she declared, glowing toward the audience. This is honestly the greatest evening of my existence. I'm officially 21, meaning I can finally claim my trust fund. Big thanks to whoever arranged that. I'm planning to spend it wildly. She giggled. The room laughed along. I remained silent. Kendra tapped her champagne flute. Sweetie, we actually prepared a special moment for you. The trust administrator is present to deliver the official documents. It's a family custom. She motioned toward the edge of the space where Howard Pemberton stood in his standard gray suit, clutching a leather folder. Brianna let out a delighted shriek. Oh my gosh, is this really occurring now? Everyone record it. Multiple phones lifted instantly. The scene was documented from all directions. Ideal. Howard approached the middle of the room. He never smiled. Not once. He opened the folder and cleared his throat. Miss Brianna Holloway, he started. I am Howard Pemberton, trustee of the Holloway Family Educational Trust, created on the date of your birth to supply financial support beginning on your 21st birthday. Brianna was practically jumping in place. How large is it? Mom always said it was substantial. The initial amount placed in the trust was $1.8 million. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Brianna's eyes widened dramatically. Kendra had already begun shedding joyful tears. However, Howard proceeded, and that single word struck like a gavel. In accordance with Section 4 of the trust document, which specifies character criteria for release, the trust underwent a forfeiture evaluation. The room fell utterly still. Brianna's grin wavered. On November 24 this year, you shared a video on the social media platform TikTok in which you openly ridiculed and demeaned a family member, specifically, the person who established and funded this trust. That video surpassed 2 million views. You later shared further material perpetuating this conduct and interacted with commenters who intensified the harshness. Brianna's complexion drained of color. Hold on, what? Who set up the trust? Howard turned his gaze toward me. Every face in the room swiveled in my direction. Your Aunt Vivian, he stated. She has been the exclusive contributor to your trust. Account from the moment you were born. Every cent in that fund originated from her. The quiet was total. I could hear ice shifting in a nearby glass. Kendra advanced, her expression contorted in bewilderment. That's absurd. Vivian doesn't possess that level of wealth. She drives a Honda. She wears. Walmart clothing. I supplied. Howard went on, unaffected by the theatrics. As trustee, I have concluded that Miss Holloway's actions represent a significant violation of the character requirement. Consequently, the trust has been terminated. The assets have been reallocated to the secondary beneficiary, a scholarship initiative supporting first-generation college students. Brianna's phone fell from her grasp and hit the floor with a clatter. No, 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 no. This can't be real. Aunt Vivian, I beg you. I had no idea. I was only creating content. It was meant as a joke. That's what everybody does. Please, you can't take it away. I moved toward her at a measured pace. The guest stepped aside as though I were parting waters. I halted a short distance away, near enough for only her to hear my words distinctly. You labeled me the broke family member, Brianna. You produced a video ridiculing my wardrobe, my vehicle, my entire existence. You placed me last in your family wealth ranking. 2 million viewers watched you degrade me for amusement, and you highlighted the harshest remark at the top of your profile. Tears now poured down her cheeks, streaking her expertly applied makeup. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. Please, Aunt Vivian. I'll remove it all. I'll make a public apology. I'll do whatever it takes. That trust was intended to support your future growth, I said softly. But nothing lasting can be constructed on a base of malice. You cannot treat individuals as mere material for views and then expect to be entrusted with significant means. The funds are no longer yours, Brianna. Not as punishment, but because your actions revealed precisely the person you've become. And I accept that reality. Kendra seized my arm. Her nails pressed sharply into my skin. You have no right to do this. That money was meant for her tomorrow. You're destroying her life over one foolish clip. I gently but decisively freed my arm. I haven't destroyed anything, Kendra. I financed her whole upbringing. The private academy. The private instructors. The vehicle you presented on her 16th birthday. The condominium you co-signed for. Every single benefit came through anonymous grants and scholarships I quietly supplied. I provided them because she was my niece, and I hoped she would develop into someone deserving of that support. I scanned the room at the 200 attendees, many of whom continued recording. She broadcast a video declaring me poor to 2 million strangers. Tonight, 2 million more will discover that the poor aunt possessed greater wealth than every person present here put together. That isn't vengeance. It's simply the facts finally coming to light. I turned to exit. My brother Marcus, who had remained motionless by the bar, at last spoke. Vivian, hold on. I had no knowledge. I promise you I had no idea about any of this. I paused but kept my back to him. You were aware of how they regarded me, Marcus. Every holiday gathering. Every family meal. You witnessed your wife and daughter belittle me for 20 years, and you stayed completely silent. You didn't require knowledge of the money to recognize that behavior was wrong. I stepped out of the rooftop space into the chilly December night. Behind me echoed Brianna's cries, Kendra's shouts directed at Howard, and the low buzz of 200 guests who had just observed the costliest social media blunder ever recorded. The clips from the celebration exploded online the following day. Not Brianna's original post. The recordings made by her own guests. The ones capturing her expression upon hearing the reality. The ones freezing the precise instant she understood the woman she'd mocked as. A pathetic wine aunt had secretly been her greatest supporter. The same online world that had ridiculed me a week earlier now turned fiercely against her. Imagine losing $1.8 million chasing likes. The broke aunt turned out to be the wealthy aunt all along. She actually called Walmart clothes on a multimillionaire. I'm dying. Brianna erased every one of her social media profiles within 48 hours. Kendra ceased all posting activity. Marcus mailed me a handwritten letter expressing regret for everything, though I haven't replied yet. Certain injuries require time before you can determine whether healing is possible. The scholarship program received the $1.8 million on December 15. It will cover tuition for 14 students entering college next year. Students who studied diligently, who displayed integrity, who recognized that the way you treat others outweighs appearances. I'm seated in my living room at this moment, dressed in a sweater that cost $47 from a shop Brianna would never consider entering. It's cozy. It's warm. It's precisely what suits me. I don't choose outfits to win approval from those who gauge value by logos. I choose them for my own comfort. I live according to my own values. And I support individuals who grasp that compassion is not frailty and modesty is not lack. Brianna believed she was revealing my true self to the world. She believed she was unveiling who I actually am. She succeeded, just not in the manner she anticipated. If you've ever been undervalued by those who mistake quietness for powerlessness, tap that like button and pass this story along. And never forget, the ones who ridicule your silence may actually be standing on the foundation you quietly laid.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a twist. Stay tuned to Reddit Tales Times for your daily dose of drama, laughs, and unbelievable stories.